LaFonda, I had to reach out to you because we just heard, maybe about an hour ago at 9:30 or so, the jurors actually came back into the courtroom. They had a couple of quick questions in terms of video they wanted to see. We're talking about video of the actual shooting as well as the 911 call made by Gregory McMichael on February 23rd of 2020, the day that Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed. So, LaFonda, give us some insight into what you believe is going on in the minds of the jurors right now, why they requested both that video and the 911 call.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's really hard to speculate about what the jurors are thinking, what's going on in that deliberation room. Of course, we're not privy to those conversations, but I can only speculate that possibly they're reevaluating the self-defense arguments because they asked to see the videos and they asked just to see small snippets of it. So possibly Travis McMichael, since he's the one that had the shotgun, and that's the video they wanted to see. But then, interestingly enough, they wanted to hear the 911 call from Greg McMichael too. So I think they are analyzing the McMichaels and what they want to do with the McMichaels, but I'm not sure. They could also have one or two holdouts, and those holdouts just need to be reassured as to what they've been told in the deliberation room. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what's going on with them.
All we can do at this point is speculate. Obviously, we can't go into the minds of the jurors. Right now it's 10:23. We are going on air in just a bit, but I want to talk to you about this briefly, LaFonda. Your thoughts overall. We know yesterday during deliberations began, we saw them talk for about deliberate for about 6 hours. Your thoughts on that? Right. Because even when they were set to wrap, we heard them say we want to continue to go on. We know Thanksgiving is just tomorrow. Perhaps they're ready to get with their families and call this an end to all of this. But your thoughts on that as well, the timeline that we're seeing them go through these deliberations.
Really, I thought after yesterday, they had deliberated for several hours, and then the judge called the foreperson in, and she said, no, we're ready to go for the day. And then she came right back and said, we can stay a little longer. So I thought that they were really close to making a decision. And so then, speculating again, I thought, well, perhaps they wanted to sleep on the decision and then come back today, and then we'd have a pretty quick verdict today. So, perhaps when they did go home and slept on it, they came back with more questions and some needed more reassurance. I'm not sure. But I really was thinking that we would have a verdict today and that we would have a verdict by noon was my speculation.
And do you still feel that way at this point?
It's 10:25. I think we may still have a verdict pretty soon here. I'm not sure, but on the Rittenhouse, I didn't think they would be out for as long as they were out. So you never know what a jury will do. You never know what the conversations are. You just don't know. Sometimes we've been able to call it right, and sometimes we just couldn't figure them out.
Let me ask you this, LaFonda, because we know that they asked for different versions of the video. So, folks, we're talking about the request that was made at about 9:30 this morning. The jurors right now are deliberating in this case, in this murder trial here in Brunswick, Georgia. And they requested video of the actual shooting, the day this happened. But they requested different versions, and they wanted to see the high-definition version as well as the original. So, LaFonda, your take on that. Why do you believe they want to see these videos in particular, the different versions, rather?
Well, maybe they wanted to see the video, the original version without, any edits and any enhancements to see for themselves whether there was anything changed, so that they're not manipulated, so to speak, with all of the enhancements. I don't know, because it was the same video, just original version versus the enhanced version. So maybe they just wanted to just be assured that they got the actual version of events, and so that they can make their decision based on the actual videos.
Let's talk about this. I mean, we did briefly earlier, them asking for the 911 call made by Gregory McMichael. We know it was about 5 minutes or so long, this call that was made on February 23rd of 2020. When you heard them call for that in particular, that audio, your reaction to that?
What I was thinking when they called for the audio is they were listening for the tone of voice. That's my thought. Because, Travis testified, that he was asking him in a nice, calm way, hey, please stop. We want to talk to you. We just want to talk to you. What's going on? What are you doing? But that the tone in that 911 call was completely different from that. And of course, that's Greg McMichael, the father, on the phone. But you can tell the tone is completely different from what Travis McMichael testified to. So I was thinking maybe it was the tone and some of the language that was used on the 911 call that they wanted to hear again. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, there is no way to know, as we can't get into the minds of these jurors. Now, LaFonda, I do want your take on things overall. Again, day 2 of deliberations. How do you feel things are going at this point?
I tell you, I really thought Linda Donikowski did a fabulous job with spelling everything out and really making it very difficult to not come back with convictions. But with the questions, I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't as much of a slam dunk as it appeared to be. I will say I thought the defense attorneys did a very good job for their clients with the facts that they have, minus the dirty toenail comment. They did a good job with just getting in the minds of the defendants, which all they need is to create some reasonable doubt to get those acquittals that they need, or lesser included convictions, as opposed to being convicted of the actual charges. So I don't know.
Yeah. You brought up something that a lot of people are talking about. In particular, I'm seeing online. It was a distasteful comment. That's the word that's being used. When Laura Hogue, she's the defense attorney for Gregory McMichael, mentioned what Ahmaud Arbery was wearing in the video, and the fact that his toenails were dirty. That's and a quote exactly what she said. Why say that? What was going through her mind? What's the defense? Why even mention that?
I'm telling you, when I heard it, I cringed. I was waiting for her to explain to us why that was important. She never did. As a defense attorney, I still cannot figure out what was going on in her mind and why she brought that up. The only thing I can come up with is she needed to paint a different picture of Ahmaud Arbery, besides the one that we see that she talked about with the nice with baseball cap, kind of crooked, with the nice shiny smile. She needed to paint a different picture in the minds of the jurors, and so the picture that she needed to paint was of a criminal, a black man that needed to be feared. And you paint that picture by describing what the McMichael saw that day and what was in their mind that day. Black man running down the street, dirty. I don't know. I'm only speculating. I know she's made some comments about her reasoning for the description and the words that she chose, but I'm not convinced.
Yeah. LaFonda as well. We do want to mention the closing, well, the rebuttal that was made by the state yesterday. There was a very difficult moment in the courtroom when the prosecutor showed an image side by side, one of Ahmaud Arbery alive, the other of him dead. That was one of the last images that the jury saw before they actually began to deliberate. So let's talk about the impact of seeing that, and what was the aim by the prosecution to show that image. Again, a photo of Ahmaud Arbery alive and another one of him dead. And that was pretty tough to see. I had to turn away myself.
Yeah. The probably similar to the defense's reasoning for painting a different picture of him the day before. And that is to show that he was alive and well and vibrant. And because of the actions of these defendants, this is now what we're left with. And this is what his mom is left with, and having to pick up the pieces. And keep that in mind and that image in mind when you're deliberating. We're talking about a life here. We're talking about a person here. We're talking about a human being who had every right to run in that neighborhood that he was running in and not be gunned down.
Well, LaFonda, we appreciate your time. I'm going to wrap things up, but before we do, I do want to ask you one last time your prediction. I know it's just a speculation at this point, but your prediction about where we're going. Again, day two of jury deliberations. We know they began yesterday. Nearly 6 hours of deliberating. Things started this morning shortly after 8:30. It is now 2 hours in 10:30 at this point. Your prediction of when you believe we will finally get a verdict in this case.
I believe that we'll have a verdict sometime today.
Timeline?
Timeline, it's you know, it's 10:30 now. I would say close to lunchtime or shortly thereafter.
And what exactly are you
That's
seeing?
it.
What exactly are you seeing that's leading you to believe in that timeline?
The questions last night led me to believe that they were pretty close.
Right. Well, they said it pretty much, right?
Yeah.
So it does appear that way. LaFonda, again, we appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I know we'll be talking with you again throughout the day. So stay close to your phone. Thank you.
All right, will do. Thank you.
All right, folks, you have been watching First Coast News' live online coverage of the trial here in Brunswick, Georgia. 3 men right now on trial accused of murdering Ahmaud Arbery are now in day 2 of deliberations, and we are officially in verdict watch. Be sure to stick with us on both of our digital channels as well as our First Coast News app and firstcoastnews.com for the very latest details. And we'll be on as well on air, First Coast News, NBC 12, ABC 25. Have a great one. Thanks again, LaFonda.